Hi, everybody. Welcome to TV Guide Live. I'm Alex Zalbin, managing editor for TVGuide.com. I'm here today with Liam Matthews, one of our amazing editors at TV Guide. How you doing?
Great.
You excited to talk about Game of Thrones?
Actually, yeah, we haven't talked about Game of Thrones in a couple of weeks, and it was all we talked about for months.
It was literally the only thing we talked about for months, so this is refreshing.
Yeah.
We're coming to it with fresh eyes, and also some of the stars are coming to it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
We got some news from Jason Momoa, from Kit Harington, from Maisie Williams. We're going to break that all down, but we also want to answer your guys' questions. So send them into facebook.com/tvguide or on Twitter, #TVGLive. We're going to get to them throughout the show, but let's get to this news. Big breaking news from Khal Drogo, my sun and moon and stars himself. He posted on Instagram over the weekend, send fans crazy.
Yeah, people went nuts. It was kind of wild to see.
They really did. Well, why don't you tell people, what did he do?
So he posted a photo of him with Game of Thrones showrunners David Weiss and D.B. Benioff.
David Benioff.
D.B. Benioff and David Weiss.
D.B. Weiss, David Benioff. It's fine. They're interchangeable at this point.
One of them's Dan, one of them's David. Dan and David.
Sure.
And,
D&D Music Factory.
Yeah.
Let's just call them that.
And people went crazy because they thought it meant that, and they were at the Guinness Brewery in Dublin,
right, and
which is south of just a little bit south of where Game of Thrones shoots in Ireland. So they thought that meant that he was shooting for season 7, that he was going to be in, Khal Drogo was going to be in season 7.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things that are confusing about that, not least of which Khal Drogo has never been outside of a desert environment, so there's no reason to expect him to be on the Ireland set. But as it turns out, he definitely wasn't there for any Game of Thrones filming. He was just there to drink Guinness.
Yeah,
right?
he did like 18 just Instagram posts that were all just like sponsored content for Guinness. He's just advertising beer. That's all it is.
Yeah, and he got his own beer.
He got his own beer.
It's
an Aquaman beer.
Yeah.
Is it an Aquaman beer?
No. It's just called the Mano, and it's a sour beer, which he says is his favorite beer.
Okay.
So there you go. That's going to be released. You can drink a little piece of Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
But the thing that I do think is interesting about this is fans are clearly crazy to have him back on the show. The Daenerys-Khal Drogo relationship was so important to so many people. If he was to come back in the upcoming season, how would he come back, and what would that mean for Daenerys?
I don't know if he could come back in, flesh and blood. Because he's been, I mean, even if he were to come back as a zombie, he's been dead for so long now that it wouldn't really...
He'd just be a skeleton.
He'd just be a skeleton.
A very weirdly muscly skeleton.
He wouldn't even, because he was burned. So what? He's gonna, the ashes are gonna reform? Like.
Yeah, I do think though, to your point, that where we last left Daenerys, she was sailing towards Westeros. She was sailing towards King's Landing. There's got to be some obstacles in the way, right? And magic is fully back in the world. So I agree with you. I don't think we're going to physically see Khal Drogo, but it'd be really interesting to have her have a vision of Khal Drogo that could stop her, halt her, send her emotionally backwards in some way. That would be very cool.
Yeah, I could absolutely see her having some kind of vision of him, because she's had a vision of him before. In season 2, she had a vision of him.
Right, in the finale. That was an amazing scene. And clearly, Jason Momoa has been so focused on that. I think it was 1 or 2 Comic-Cons ago. He ran up on stage in the middle, kissed Emilia Clarke full on the mouth, and said, "Khal Drogo's back, baby." So he's into it.
It's crazy. It's been like 6 years since he was on the show, and he's still Khal Drogo. That is who he is recognized as. It's kind of crazy.
It's insane. All right, we're going to get to the other pieces of news, but I want you guys to keep sending in questions, facebook.com/tvguide, on Twitter, #TVGLive, but let's get to a couple of them now. Ken on Twitter asks, will we see more dragons this season? What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the dragons have become more integral each season as they have matured. Maybe they'll be full-grown this year. And, they're going to battle. They're going to take down King's Landing, so...
Yeah, I mean, Daenerys let them loose, right?
Yeah.
So if you mean, are we going to see more of the dragons? Yes, absolutely. Are we going to see more than 3 dragons? I don't think so.
If that's the question, no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Kate on Twitter asks, is the storyline no longer following the books?
Oh, yeah, it's off the books.
Right.
We outstripped the books last season.
I think we figured this out. We spent a little time figuring this out at the end of the last season, and there's 1 or 2 chapters still left from the books at this point, other than the ones that George R. R. Martin has released for Winds of Winter. You have a little bit of Brienne stuff that probably will never happen because we may never see Lady Stoneheart. Sorry, Lady Stoneheart truthers such as myself. But yeah, for the most part, we're beyond the books at this point. It's crazy. All right, let's keep sending in your questions, you guys, to Facebook, to Twitter. But let's get to the second item. This is from a THR interview with Kit Harington. He said, quote, "It's going to get very bleak if there is a happy ending." I think there's probably a comma missing there or something like that.
Yeah.
But he also clarified that he hadn't read any scripts.
Right.
He was just speculating. But what do you think? The thing that I think is kind of curious about this is we actually felt like last season was pretty cheery.
Totally.
In a weird
For
way.
Game of Thrones,
Right.
it was like, Family Matters or something.
Who's the Urkel?
The Urkel? That's a very good question.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I really don't know. It would probably be...
I think it's Cersei, because Cersei always seems like she would say, "Did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, was that me?" No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Please
Yeah.
let us know in the comments who you think the Urkel is of Game of Thrones. But
Jamie is the Stefan.
Yeah?
Stefan Urkel.
Oh,
for
okay.
Sure.
That makes sense that they're having sex then.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's going to get very bleak if there is a happy ending. So there's two parts of that. Do you think the next season is going to be bleak, and do you think there's going to be a happy ending?
It could be. I mean, since it's going to be the second to last season before the end, it could very well take us down to a very low point before it comes back up in the finale. Just like a real second act sort of downer thing.
It'll be like The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
this season.
exactly.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, where the good guys lose at the end of this season.
And I feel like a lot of these split seasons, like looking at Breaking Bad, there's a break there where our heroes or anti-heroes are down, everything is horrible, and then when we pick back up, we got to lift them up higher than they've ever been before.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so Kit Harington, 100% on the money, even though he hasn't read any of the
Yeah, I
scripts.
mean, I don't know why they ask Kit Harington anything, because I do not envy Kit Harington, because people just ask him all these questions that he does not have the answers for.
He's too busy quaffing his hair to do anything else.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn to your guys' questions. Keep sending them in, facebook.com/tvguide, #TVG Live on Twitter, and we'll keep getting to them, so keep sending them in. Liz on Facebook asks, will we see Lady Stoneheart? What do you think? I mean, I know I just shot this down, but is there any chance that
I
we're
mean,
gonna
there's
see-
always a chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a giant spoiler, but for those who don't know who Lady Stoneheart is, it's a resurrected Catelyn Stark who comes back as a vengeful sort of zombie-type spirit sort of thing. You think there's... so you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance. It's
You're so
unlikely.
positive.
It's unlikely. I wonder if there's anyone they could sort of transfer the Lady Stoneheart storyline to. Is there anyone who maybe...
So one of our coworkers, Sadie, her theory is that Arya's storyline is going to sub in for the Lady Stoneheart storyline, which finds Lady Stoneheart being this spirit of vengeance going around taking down everybody who had anything to do with the Red Wedding, which does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Still, it's a bummer. The Lady Stoneheart thing would be an awesome visual. Katie on Twitter asks, will Jon Snow still have a man bun? Liam, you're our hair expert.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was working for him. That
Was
was
it?
his... Yeah, I thought it was a good look.
All right.
And,
Here's my question. Is the man bun a good look for anybody?
I mean, it was in 2014, but like the man bun wave has long since crested. We've moved on to, I don't know, it's hard to say exactly what it is now.
Mullets are going to come back in?
I hope not. I mean, it's possible.
All right, I'm working on mine. Cool. All right, we'll keep getting to your questions throughout the show, so keep sending them in. But let's talk about one piece of actual news where somebody actually did something.
Yes.
Maisie Williams last night went on a tweet storm.
Yes.
Total tweet storm about season 7. She has read the script. She was freaking out online. I'm going to read you her tweets right now. First one, just finished reading season 7. Gets real. I'd start preparing yourselves now. Scratch that. Nothing will prepare you for this. And the last one, lowercase holy, uppercase balls. So she's pretty excited.
She's excited, yeah.
So here's what I want to do. She says, nothing can you prepare you for this. So let's prepare ourselves for the stuff that we can prepare. What's so unexpected that we can expect right now? What do you think? What's a
Maybe.
crazy possibility?
Yeah. So maybe she becomes like hand of the king or hand of the. No, like the head of the Kingsguard.
She becomes the head of the Kingsguard?
Yeah, when
That would be unexpected.
yeah, that would be totally unexpected. When Daenerys becomes queen, she's going to get linked up with them somehow. I just see
could
that
see her more
happening.
as Master of Whispers taking over for Varys.
Oh,
I
that
think
could
that
be.
would make a
Yeah.
lot of sense. Here's my crazy idea, the thing that we wouldn't expect. Knowing Game of Thrones, we know that they take forever to do anything and get people places, but they really started speeding up at the end of last season. So we ended with Daenerys sailing on Westeros, getting ready to invade. So I think the expectation is she's going to land in Dorne, build up her forces, take her time. What if instead the season kicked off immediately with Daenerys attacking King's Landing?
That'd be wild.
It would be crazy, right?
Yeah.
It would be just getting right to it. It would be getting right to the meat of things. It's something where you don't even have to have the battle last over one episode. There could be different fronts going back and forth between Cersei and Daenerys. I would love that.
It would be really cool. It'd be a total change of pace from what the show normally does.
Yeah.
In a really exciting way. Yeah.
Or it could just turn into a cooking show. Who knows?
Yeah. That would be
happen.
great too. I mean, if Arya would be great for that because she is an expert pie maker.
Yes. At some point, we have to make Frey pie live on the air.
Yes.
Just not actual Frey pie, maybe faux Frey pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not with real humans.
No, we would use, Soylent or something.
Sure, there we go. Cool. For you guys, keep sending in your questions, facebook.com/TV Guide, or on Twitter, #TVG Live. Let's get to a couple of them now. Tim on Twitter asks, will Jorah die? Who will save Jorah?
Oh, Jorah's a dead man walking.
Yeah.
He has grayscale. It's a fatal illness. And so he's got to go down sort of as a hero. He's going to sacrifice himself for Daenerys somehow.
Yeah,
that is his arc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's going to sacrifice himself before the grayscale kills him.
Yeah.
Some people think that he's going to lead to the cure for grayscale, which seems... I don't know. This isn't a medical
Who cares
show.
about grayscale?
Forget it. Sarah on Twitter asks, what's next for Jaime and Cersei?
Oh, that's going to be one of the most interesting plots of season 7 because they are not on the same page anymore. I mean, we saw that look that they gave each other in the finale where they I don't know, he looked like furious. He was just totally disgusted with the power grab that she had taken. So yeah, I mean, something there's gonna be some blowouts between the two.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen in season 7 necessarily, but I think there's every chance that Jaime will end up having to mercy kill Cersei in some way before she gets entirely out of control and kills them all. Let's see. Michael on Facebook asks, will everything tied to Dorne die a fiery and satisfying death?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
think
think
so?
they already like pretty much abandoned Dorne. They were like, this is just not working. We're just gonna forget all about
But then they
this.
brought it back to it. They got rid of all the dudes in Dorne, so they were done with that. The Sand Snakes have taken over. They're working with the Queen of Thorns,
Oh, that's
Olenna
right.
Tyrell,
Yeah.
and then Varys shows up and teams up with them as well. So again, I think the expectation is that Daenerys is going to land in Dorne, and they're going to have this awesome lady alliance going on to take back Westeros.
Yeah.
But that said, I think mostly you're right. We're going to ditch Dorne.
Yeah,
and
I
we're
mean,
done
they'll
with the politics
maybe
there.
be in Dorne for an episode and then head out.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably probably one sand snake will survive. The other two will die.
Gotcha. Dakota on Facebook asks, will there be any major character development for Lady Mormont?
Probably not.
Yeah, she's just like a tiny little
She's just
awesome
cool,
badass.
yeah.
She's just cool. All right, cool. I think
There
we
are
could-
too many characters already.
Yeah.
They still gotta whittle them down.
Yeah. Do you think at this point they're writing scripts for her to come up with gifable moments? They're like, what's her gifable moment?
Totally.
this
Yeah, they
episode?
really care about gifts.
Yes, that's the major driving force behind the plot. I think we have time for one more question, so let's get to that. Amanda says, Jaqen Jack and Hadar, has been Syrio all along. It's not a question,
okay.
that's a statement, but what do you think about that theory? Has Jack and Hadar,
yeah, I've heard
is he
of
Syrio
this.
Farrell?
I've heard this theory before.
Syrio Farrell, by the way,
Yeah.
is the guy who trained Arya all the way back in season 1, in case you forgot.
Right, and we never saw him die, which is basically the only evidence that it could be him. And that he was from Bravos, right? Wasn't that basically what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think he's dead. I think he just died off camera. I don't think it is. I think it would just be too much of a...
I also think we're kind of done with Jack and Hagar at this point.
Yeah, I
it
think
would have been a
yeah.
really cool nod to see Sirio's face on the wall of
Yeah, that would have been cool.
the house
Didn't
down
happen.
there, but I don't know. Just because that was a statement, last little thing that I'll throw out to you, one last question. Ali on Facebook's asked, will there be any surprise celeb cameos?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there have been some metal bands in the past, like the guys from Mastodon were whites during Hard Home. So it could be, I don't know, maybe Lars Ulrich will be there?
Sure, maybe. They have had a different band on every season, so I think that's pretty much a lot. What I would love to see, I don't think this has actually happened yet. I could be wrong, but the It's Always Sunny guys are huge fans of the show and good friends with David Weiss and DB Benioff. Did I get it right? I can't even remember at this point. But they're good friends with them, so it would be awesome to have It's Always Sunny in Westeros. That would just be amazing.
Yeah, it would be. Just like, Dee is like a tavern wench or something.
She could be an actual bird.
She could be an actual bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. All right, let's make it happen. Guys, please tweet at us. #DAsBird on Game of Thrones TVG Live. Don't forget any of that hashtag or otherwise it won't work. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're here every single weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Before we go, I do want to say one thing. Happy birthday to our editor-in-chief, Mickey O'Connor. If you're watching, which hopefully you are because, you know, this is a show that we do, but happy birthday to you. And if you want to wish him a happy birthday in the comments, that would be nice as well. Has nothing to do with Game of Thrones, but there you go. Thank you, Liam, so much for being here. And thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, it's facebook.com/TVGuide. You can always tweet at us any time of the day, #TVG Live. The world of TV is very complicated. We'll guide you through it. See you next time.